Ranking Member of the Subcommittee on Economic Growth, Mr. Cartwright, for his opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I do thank the witnesses for taking time out to appear today. This hearing is going to examine the loan program established under the Affordable Care Act to create nonprofit, member-focused health insurance co-ops, or consumer-operated and oriented plans in several states. The co-op program is an investment in healthcare innovation. It is an investment designed to increase market competition and consumer choice, which drives down prices to consumers, something that we should all want more of. I had looked forward to the testimony of Sarah Horowitz, the CEO of a sponsor of 3 co-ops and a winner of the MacArthur Genius Award for Social Innovation. Thank you for coming today. I had also looked forward to the testimony of Dr. Jan Van Riper, the Executive Director of the National Alliance for State Health Co-ops, to give us a big picture view of the 23 successful co-ops operating today in both red and blue states. However, I regretfully inform you that I will not be hearing this testimony today. The majority released this 28-page report they have written on co-ops exactly 1 hour before the hearing was supposed to start. No Democrats had seen this report before its release. Look, the American public wants us to work together. They are hungry for Democrats and Republicans to work together. This is not working together. This is not a report that was generated just recently. It is perfect. It is 28 pages. It has 136 footnotes. There is not a typo to be seen in there. This is the type of report that the gentleman yields and weeks to prepare and to dump it on us an hour before the hearing. Obviously, a well thought out attempt to just completely skew this process. We in America, we're used to something called due process. Due process means you have notice and an opportunity to be heard so that you don't just get one side of the story every time. That's what this is. This is the one side of the story, and to give the Democrats on this committee 1 hour to prepare for this hearing is ridiculous. Sadly, it's not the first time this has happened. It's become standard operating procedure for the majority on this committee. Republicans and Democrats alike are constantly talking about how they want to work with folks on the other side of the aisle. I would say to my colleagues, if you want to work with us, we are here. You have our emails. You have our phone numbers. We work just down the hall from each other in the same office building. Send us the report. We're happy to look at it. We don't care if it's not properly paginated or has typos in it. We want to get some notice of these things ahead of time so we can sit down and have a civil, informed, and bipartisan discussion about these important matters. I can't sit through a hearing where we're going to talk about a report that none of the Democrats have had a chance to read and pretend that this is the way that we should be doing things here in Congress. The American people expect more than this of us, and they deserve more than this of us. And I yield back.
Would the gentleman yield for any conversation?
I did.
Well, the challenge that I have of this, do you know of any testimony that occurred or any interviews that occurred that both the majority and the minority staff were not involved with, that were you excluded from any of the interviews at all?
We got this report 1 hour before the hearing.
Right.
I'd like to see which one of you who will stand up and say we could not have been given this with much more notice than that.
My challenge of this is, for me personally, is it has the feeling of our staff worked hard on a hearing that had public notice that obviously this hearing was coming, what the topic was about. There are interviews that have happened over the past year to all of these individuals doing the background, and it feels like there's a frustration that our staff prepared for it and your staff didn't prepare for it, that we did a report and y'all didn't, and you're walking into the hearing not ready. And that's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm glad for us to have the conversation because the bulk of the conversation today are the testimony of these 5 folks, not about our report. Now, we prepared a report to get ready for this hearing, but we came to this hearing not to talk about the report, but to receive witness testimony. So we'd be honored for you to be a part of the witness testimony.
Will the member yield?
Absolutely, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I am not here to protest the facts and the opinions here to be given by these fine people. I am here protesting the one thing and the one thing alone, and that is this report that was dumped on us with, it's absolutely unfair. And I will not be a part of something that involves this level of unfairness. It just doesn't make sense, and I feel that it is un-American.
Well, I feel like you were involved in every single interview, and we just wrote up a report of what we heard in those interviews and the facts that we had gathered. And I'm sorry that your staff did not also pull together the facts that they had gathered and also release a report, because that would be very appropriate for our staff to work on it, your staff to work on it, and then for us to come in to be able to hear the testimony of the people that are coming to be able to bring testimony.
Mr. Chairman, I protest conducting business in this fashion. I think I've expressed myself fully, and I'm going to excuse myself now.